I suppose it's the same with success, isn't it? I mean, success is measured in lots of different ways. It's not always just about sales figures, is it? I mean, from your perspective, what defines a successful person? You know, what if we put all the kind of the sales numbers and that kind of stuff to one side, how could you be successful? What does that even mean?
I think it's difficult to define success, isn't it? Because for some people, it's how big's your bank account. For some people, it's what demonstration am I driving? You know, because they've got a big thing about cars, and I get that as well. You know, and for some people, it's just about being number one. You know, so different things to different people mean different things. So you know, for me, success isn't. You can't just say it's one particular thing. It's personal to the individual. You know, so for me, I mean, one of the things that I always say in terms of success isn't about, you know, being the number one biggest dealer group in the UK. Doesn't mean anything. You know, as it happens, I think we're really lucky in that we've got a very credible company in Sytner who are an awesome organisation. I think in that case, being number one, you know, is they're a class organisation. So it's fantastic to have an organisation who's biggest by turnover and actually also does really well in other metrics around. They treat their people properly. They're very profitable. They're good with manufacturer relationships because that is what people should aspire to. But for me, it's around, you know, it's a balanced performance success. So for us, our vision around being our vision is to be the UK's premier automotive retail group. And what does that mean? Well, premier means the best, quite simply, and that's not determined by turnover because that's just a vanity thing. But it's around for us. How do our shareholders feel about us? So do we do a good job for our shareholders? And I think we've demonstrated year in, year out, we've done a pretty good, and we've outperformed the market every single time versus the market. And every time we put a stock exchange announcement out, you'll see, you know, every single year we outperform the market. So our shareholders are happy. Secondly, what do our people think of us? We've talked about great place to work 10 years in a row. So our people are happy because there's no point having happy shareholders if it's all built on sand and all your people are miserable and they're all going to leave tomorrow because that's not sustainable. So our shareholders are very, I mean, it's interesting. When we told our shareholders what we had done around enhancing people's pay, because you could say, some shareholders might say, hang on, you're giving away my money there, you know. Actually, quite the opposite. You know, the number of, in fact, what was pleasing, some of our institutional shareholders, they actually said, good on you, right call, right decision, you'll get that paid back in spades. You know, one of our NEDs, when we sent the first video out to say what we were doing in terms of pay, one of our non-exec directors, a person I've got in holding very high regard, he emailed me, said, that's the best decision you've ever made, you know. And so people's really important. I think customers are really important. So how do you treat your customers? Your manufacturer relationships, not only just with manufacturers, but also your business partners. Do you do the right things? Are you fair by your business partners? Yes, you have to have a commercial relationship. Of course you do, but sometimes you've got to give and take. And if you look at a lot of our relationships, they're very long term. We don't just go in and out of partnerships, be that, you know, our oil company's been with us for 10 years. Our finance company's been with us 10 years. Our bank's been with us. Our main bank, Barclays, has been with us since 1909. Our insurance company's been with us 25, 26 years. So, so I think that also how you behave towards your business partners and your brands and your manufacturer relationships is quite important as well. So for us, it's looking at a balanced performance in terms of what defines success. And likewise, when I'm looking at a salesperson, you know, it's not just about actually who sells the most. It's who does it properly, because you know we've all seen those salespeople who sell lots of cars, but then you get about half of them come back because they've not treated the customers properly.
Yeah. You got the experience to know that, haven't you? I think. And no, I mean, you earlier you mentioned that you don't really see it as a job. I can see why. Obviously, you're incredibly passionate for it.